Good afternoon, and thank you for waiting. Welcome to our conference call to tell about the results of second quarterly reports of 2021. If you need simultaneous interpretation, we have this tool in the platform. In order to do so, click on the button Interpretation through the globe in the bottom part of the screen and choose the language you prefer, Portuguese or English. To the ones listening to the conference call in English, you can mute the original audio, clicking in mute original audio. We inform that this conference call is being recorded and it will be available in the website of the company with the complete material available there. During the presentation, all participants will be with their listening only mode. After presentation, we will start the Q&A session for analysts and shareholders. You should click on Q&A in the bottom part of our screen, putting our name and our company's name. If requested, a request to open your microphone will be on your screen and you click there. We highlight the information in this presentation and statements that could be done during this conference call related to business perspectives, projections, and targets in Ser Educacional. They are assumptions for the company and also information available. Future estimations involve risks, uncertainties, and assumptions because they are related to future events and therefore depend on circumstances that may or may not occur. Investors should understand that economic conditions in the industry and other operation factors may also affect the future performance of Ser Educacional and may be different of the one said here. I'll now hand over to Jânio Diniz, CEO of Ser Educacional. Jânio Diniz says, hi everyone, thank you so much for being present in our quarterly highlights. Now we have a different format with video and simultaneous interpretation we hope you like. Let me show our results that were very important. We have a combined result of our base. We believe this is the inflection point. This because in this semester, we are back with our results. In the next quarter, we will have more students enrollment in the hybrid, on campus, and digital teaching. This way, we are going to speed up the net income growth. Another important aspect is that the results reflect our objective, being a company with a higher education portfolio, more balance between digital teaching, hybrid, and medicine. The hybrid teaching represented 74% of our Ebitda in the last year. And then after the mergers, the acquisitions, we consolidated in the last 12 months in Unijuazeiro, Unifacimed, Unifasb, UNESCO, and Ebitda, and organic growth of our digital teaching represents 50% of medicine, corresponding to 35%, and digital 50%. This diversification owes to our strategy to build an ecosystem of continued education, which is complete and maximizes the revenue on our assets. In this quarter, we announced 2 new acquisitions. FAEL, because it has strengthened the offer of digital teaching, and CDMV/DOC, that increases our specialization in veterinary medicine market. We are strengthening our continued education ecosystem with a course complete portfolio, with a multi-channel supported by Ubíqua, our course curricula and state-of-the-art generation assures flexibility, scale, teaching quality, state-of-the-art technology for our student base. And slide 5, we detail the evolution of our results as medicine school. We have a growth of result We have 65% occupation on our spots, and we have ongoing growth of result. And we have a strong presence also in Rondônia and the countryside of Bahia, two regions that grow a lot because of agrobusiness. On slide 6, we presented the organic growth of our digital education, which presented the growth of the student base in 121% and almost doubled the revenue and grew the Ebitda adjusted in 56%. We executed our new strategic plan and we could replace our teaching concept, our teaching grade of online digital teaching, having our course offer in this area with lots of news and speeding up our distribution online. We have a customization of our modern course portfolio and our pioneerism in our market. We have been having very interesting results with lots of potential of growth and scalability. On slide 7, we detailed the acquisition strategic rationale of FAEL, and we have value generation potential, which is strategic also. And Ser Educacional has specialized in offering digital teaching in our own unities through e-commerce. And we have a multi-channel offer and we needed to evolve in our learning units offer. FAEL is a perfect fit for Ser Educacional. We have presence, which is very relevant in South and Southeast region. And we also have a national rich company with regional brands which are strong. Another important aspect is to have synergies in costs, and especially because of the offer of course in the health area, engineering, in FAEL learning units. Now they offer only humanities course, but also because of all optimization and utilization of brands in our learning units, and have the capacity to leverage operationally. And on slide 8, we show our acquisition, the most recent one, which is CDMV/DOC. We have on-campus higher superior that makes sense with the future, with a growth trend in health and engineering segments because of the practical classes. So we have a change of a paradigm shift in our segment. The differential of CDMV/DOC is the focus on veterinary practice in specialization and doctorate and master's degree, specialization courses, which is complementary to the Ser Educacional graduation. We have differential in the current veterinary medicine graduation undergraduate course, and also postgraduate courses and continued specialization courses based in practical classes. This way we can sources of auxiliary revenue generation with and broadening of our social services in the operation cities. The theoretical contents will be digitized and will be part of Ser ecosystem to be offered in all its platform, which we have sound regional brands. And we are only going to have online courses with Go Cursos and commercial partnerships. Talking about it, Go Cursos, on slide 9, we'll see that our online courses portal is evolving very fast. There are 4,000 courses in the market, and we are going to launch at the end of June, our newest version of the portal. We have a platform to distribute courses with a powerful commercial model. When you also have a modeling of sales by subscription, it's a very interesting way of doing it. And we are going to expand each time more our course portfolio so that we have a content base which is very broad so that we can explore many different ways, opening space for innovation and new growth avenues of revenue. On slide 11, we have the result of students' intake in the first quarter, in the first semester, I mean. And as we shown before in the presentation of last quarterly, hybrid teaching ended up recovering well in the second quarter, and digital teaching followed growing because of all the investment. As a result of our intake, our overall intake, we had a 52% increase. What I understand it's important, especially on this period of pandemics with hybrid teaching dropping only 10% and digital with growth of almost 200%. We could grow 22%, and you'll be able to see it on slide 12. And FAEL will permit us to have a better capillarity and will be benefit our proposal and different value for our students. On slide 13, we have good news. Our average hybrid teaching ticket increased almost 9% in the quarter, supported for higher volume of medicine seats and the growth of our student base in the health segment overall. Our ticket presented a drop of 9%, especially because of a mix change. Other than that, as we showed in the higher education funding program in Brazil, it is a topic from the past, represented only 7% of our student base, showing our company could be profitable more than average. These were my initial comments, and now João Aguiar will detail the results of the quarter with more detail. João Aguiar says, thank you, Daniel. Thank you all, and thank you for sharing our result statement. Let's see the result of the quarter. And we have very positive news in growing our net revenue, which was impacted by the growth of our base student and the recent acquisitions. This is very important, especially because in this semester, it wasn't impacted by the pandemics. I mean, this semester was impacted by the pandemics and hybrid teaching didn't recover. So we have a very important vector to originate results from the third quarter on. Let's detail the behavior of costs and expenditures. The second quarter in 2020, we had an atypical behavior. This happened because in that period, there was the impact of isolation measures, what led Ser Educacional to reduce its expenditures in all fronts. For this quarter, it's the opposite situation. We are investing again in our organic growth, especially in the digital teaching in our recent acquisition, and they are still in its first synergy generation. This cost is only beginning its optimization trajectory because Ebitda, our hybrid teaching methodology, is still in its first cycle, and it will help us improve our performance, so on. In this, our Ebitda sense, the adjusted one, is 6% below the year. This happened because of the improvement of our revenue, combined with a margin contraction that tends to be temporary. The net income was impacted because of the financial result, because of our indebtedness, because of the acquisitions we have just announced. Another factor that impacted income was the higher volume of granted discounts that, despite of our negotiation redirection, will reduce the known income in the future. And then we will offer discounts, especially in the beginning of the pandemics. On slide 15, we showed our results by segment. And as Daniel said, both digital teaching and our recent acquisition are having a very good performance this year. And this is important in the superior and higher education. Now we expect to see hybrid teaching the next quarter reducing the operational costs we had from the third quarter. Slide 16, we presented the net profit excluding IFRS 16 effects, that we have an impact in this semester about 14 million in our results. This is because of the accounting impact of the application in our lease contracts. On slide 17, we show our receiving accounts. As you can see, it is on an inflection point. And it is a receivable longer cycle, but especially when we analyze the pro forma that we put on the graphics on the right side of the slide, including the revenue of the recent acquisition, considering the last 12 months to make the comparison more adequate. We see a good flow of payments of students that were funded by FIES before. And the flow of payments of FIES is regular and less representative in our results. We have a good coverage for inadimplência, and we know that the level of provisioning has been higher and must have a better trajectory from 22 on. On slide 18, we present our operational cash pre and post Capex and illustrates my previous comment. We are having a good recovery of payment flow in these semesters. It's a trend we believe it gets stronger from now on with the reduction of effects of the pandemics in our student base. On slide 19, we have our Capex, where we do not have many news unless on the return of some tests, some activities. And our digital transformation plan and experience of the students is being dealt as debt because of they are this way. Our financial debt passed of a net cash of 68 million to a net debt of 305 million, one time our Ebitda adjusted in the 12 months. We had important investments for our future, including 3 medical schools. And we clearly have a very comfortable financing position to consolidate acquiring FAEL and CMVD and other acquirers that are in our pipeline. And I'll talk to Dr. Janil, he will have his final comments.
Thank you, Aguiar. Let's go to slide 22, following with the presentation today. We're going to talk about the ecosystem in our partners in acquisitions. We have here a number of courses and technical courses as a brand and recognized in the education market. This strategy, we have to deepen our content and making a closer relationship with the student, bringing them to participate in a more active way in their curriculum. In this way, we want to combine acquisition and organic growth as a step to be a leader in our segment, to have a very broad portfolio. In this sense, we was investing in the experience of our students, which are going to develop better in this new environment, technological environment. We're focused growing continuous education ecosystem close to the reality of the market, bring a different value, differentiated value for our students, customizing the way we educate, the way we teach. In an education that is different and more consistent in the delivery for the society. Thank you for being here. We are here to start the Q&A session. Now I'm going to start the Q&A session. And remember, to ask, you have to click on the Q&A button, write your name, to be on the line. And then you're going to be asked to turn on your mic to make your question. Let's start with the first question from Marcelo Santos, Edmoto, in Portuguese. Please, Marcelo, turn on your microphone and make your question. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you guys are listening well. I have two questions. First, if you guys could tell a little bit more about the winter capitation and how this is impacting in the hybrid teaching and digital, and the way, the environment of tickets, what you guys see, and the online and digital. Good afternoon, Marcelo. As we said before, we'd like to say that the study intake is being better than what we thought in the presential education, and has been much better than we expected. And we're expecting better results for the end of the year. We are going to, till end of September or October, we're going to have our the end of our students intake, and it has been much better than what we thought. Even with the vaccination, here in Pernambuco, we are having already people with 18 years old vaccinating. The protocols for on-campus education are not very clear, but we are looking positive way for what we have foresee. And when we compare the way the second semester, the development we had there this year have been much better. The vaccination is going to have a really good impact in the way we're going to continue doing business in education. About the ticket, we have here the way we expected, not much different. The discount we were giving here, we're not giving as much as we did before. Until the end of the students intake, I think it will be better. Thank you, Jânio. The next question is from Victor Tomita. Victor, please open your microphone. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Two questions we have here. First, could you guys comment on how the on-campus and the hybrid system is going to work? How is this arriving in between the students? How is this the relationship between the hybrid system and the on-campus system? How do you guys could like see the growth of income, and with the demand and ticket, how much you guys get in the health courses and the general courses, and the way the intake and the tickets has an impact on this system? Good afternoon. I'm going to answer this question about the capitation and intake of students. We'll connect with the second answer. There was a change in the behavior among the students and what they expect. We're doing some research in our units, what they expect and if they are going to come back. More than 50% of the students don't want to come back to the campus. So when we talk about the intake of students in this new system, that's the answer for the students that don't want to be on campus. And the hybrid system is going to be the solution, because some classes he has to do on campus, but some classes he's going to be able to do on the digital environment. So like that, we can implement for the students more than 40% of the possibility of the course happen on online education. The communication is going to be done in a hybrid way. We're going to step by step and do in parallel the system. And about the second question, what we have to think here is that veterinary has a very high ticket among the courses in education. So those courses, they give the perception of and a very good income for the unit. We want to expand this network of hospitals using, and with this network of hospitals, we're going to have like 20 courses credentiated. And in 3 years, we can, these 20 hospitals, veterinary hospitals, in 3 years, we're going to maturate and they're going to ripe. So we can have these, the best hospital in our perception. Interesting pricing ticket with a less evasion tax average of students here is we're going to have on the extension courses and post-graduation courses. In higher education, we have to remember veterinary is one of the doors for that. There are different segments in health education where we can expand this idea of ecosystem in hybrid system, maximizing the use of assets and making a better use of those assets and generating a better income and a differentiation of market where the units are and making a better reputation of our units where they are inserted. So our competitors don't have the same force. Following to the next question, we're going to talk to Leandro Brastos. Please, Leandro, open your mic and make your question. Hello, everybody. I would like to ask a little bit about the costs in the last trimester. We see a pressure in the numbers as we thought in relation to last year and things going back to normal. My question would be, I would like to understand where we are on this process of normalization for the second semester and going to on-campus education. And the way you guys see the costs on the second semester. I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Thank you, Leandro. Aguiar talking here. What we can say, looking about the costs, the recurring costs, let's separate in two different ways. We have to talk about the costs they're going to have now with the return, economic return. So we have the effects here that happen in between the pandemic time, those costs that operational costs in the units went down. But what is happening now and the costs environment is here 2 or 3. We have to talk about marketing. When we talk about marketing in this moment, we have to talk about in this process of implementing a bigger number of students' income and more income of students to have a better revenue. We have to know, because of the pandemic, the accounts received, we have here some students, they are working on paying their debts with us and go back. And we are seeing a growth on these elements. So capitation in PDD is going to be take a little bit longer. On this way, we have here the personal and service we deliver that we have to invest in the structure to work on these situations and the relations. We're going to talk about like the relation digital and a better culture in the units and in the system. Going forward with the system, and we're going to have a better income and revenue, and these costs, we're going to have a better understanding and better impact. In an environment there, we have less interference on the macroeconomics because of the pandemic. We're going to have a better idea about that. Thank you, Aguiar.
Only to make it clearer, talking about second semester, is this already on, or is this a gradual process? João says it's a more gradual process, but the return we are having with the student intake process, the recovery, we understand we will have some dilution in these costs and expenditure, but it will be more gradual. In this dilution, we understand it will happen when the economy is back. Our expectation is that it happens in 2022. Rodrigo says, maybe it will help you understand. Second quarter of 20 has expenditure and cost atypical without on-campus students. So with less revenue, we could have more results. Now it's something reversed going on. The student base is growing again. The acquisitions helped us grow in one side. Digital teaching helped us grow in the other side, and on-campus suffered only a bit. Now it's reversed. On-campus will grow organically speaking from now on. It has already happened. It will have a ramp up in the digital one, and medical schools are going on. So we need to dilute a cost structure. Now some items are back in this quarter. Which ones? Other expenditures, because of some provisions we had in labor processes, civil processes. Marketing is a little bit higher because of digital ramp up, but the revenue will dilute this. PDD is something that we are going to have back again. So we are calm regarding our results. We are very well aligned with the budget made. And more interestingly, on-campus teaching is back, and the hybrid model is being well accepted by the market as well. Leandro says, perfect, Rodrigo. Thank you so much. Our next question, Mauricio Cepeda from Credit Suisse. Mauricio, please, you can ask your question. Mauricio says, hi, everyone. Thank you so much in having my question. Let me have a step back about students' intake, something more qualitative. What have you realized on this new intake on the third quarter? Which is the profile of this student? Are they coming from high school? Or are they students that dropped in the past and are coming back? What is the profile of this student? And this seasonal thing, I was talking to other people in the segment, in the industry, we had a problem of getting hold back. Did this happen? Was it a change in the curve? Or this year we are going to have a lower student intake regarding the first quarters, the first semester? I would like to understand the qualitative part in the student intake. Regarding the other courses, the veterinary course, thank you for the idea. The society is turned to the animals. Would you do it in separate? How would you explore this market better with the veterinary hospitals? Thank you so much. Jânio said, thank you for the question. Regarding student intake, some things may be happening. This student intake moment was a bit lower compared with the other years, but 2020 was an atypical year. We had a reduction because it was isolation first moment. People didn't know what would happen and they were delaying decision making. And this kept going on until the end of the year. And the student is a little bit different to what happened to distance learning. They are older. Hybrid teaching has been recovering better than what we expected. One part of it is due to the decision-making process being delayed. And this doesn't justify this growth. The other one is that things will return to normality. On-campus classes will return and the economy will go back to the track. And this has been happening in a meaningful way. Intake student process is going back to the time previous to lockdown, to pandemics. It has a curve that is similar to the years before the pandemic. Rodrigo says, according to the second question, DOK team, we have an executive that will be on a technical role in operating the veterinary hospitals. And we would like to be on this business. The acquisition of CDM Doc, it's a specific legal entity that is going to manage the clinics. And our doc model will be expanded in the other 19 veterinary accreditations. And I believe we are building an acquisition pipeline of other hospitals. Of course, if we have a good price level, a fair price level, we believe on this, and it illustrates the ecosystem concept that puts together hybrid models and on-campus models. All the CDMV content is being digitalized, and it will be offered in every Ser Educational channels, the other brands, the other courses. So this is a project that works in this segment, and it can be transported to other ones as well. Jânio says, only complementing, these acquisitions have been recurrent. We will operate, especially in the edtechs, and now with veterinary medical school. The founders look at the inside of the business and help us scale this new model. In the specific case of Doc CDMV, they have it's a win-win situation. They put together learning and training in the hospitals alongside with hospital operations, and also the pet shop part that follows it. But the specific focus and how nice this business is, they ended up training in the hospital with the practical classes in a differentiated way. We have a public profile that comes from graduation, and they end up offering professionalization courses that can be scaled and transferred for all our other units, as it happened to our veterinary hospital in Guarulhos, São Paulo. And they end up transferring this for our undergraduate courses, a prestige that ends up being moved for the hospitals as well. So both end up winning. We increased the ticket numbers and the volume of students as well. And this goes for our third digital channel, these ecosystems of continued education that offer as well these health area courses. Mauricio says it's crystal clear. Thank you so much for your answers. Our next question is Vinicius Ribeiro from UBS. Vinicius, please, you can ask your question. Vinicius says, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are all well. There are two questions here. First, about Menem. After student intake process, we consider these Menem activities. Are we going to have a window to have consolidation moment as we had before? Second question about hybrid teaching, hybrid education. As 40% online learning and the downsides of operations, does it make sense to imagine a higher margin for hybrid education to convince these students to go to the hybrid teaching? It should be lower price. Rodrigo says, regarding NMA, May, we used to say it is the bride's month, and the rest of the year, we have all the transactions in the market. The market is so warmed up, we do not have bride's month anymore. Every month we have all kinds of transactions, and we have been focusing in the edtechs and in assets that can generate a networking effect. And combined to it, they can support building the ecosystem model we have been working on. Ebitda, for example, they do not have an edtech, and we bought some medical schools, and Fael, which was the online learning that we have now. So we still have been focusing MA transactions on these streams. On the second semester is more dedicated to edtechs, more than on-campus transactions. Even medical school, we have a good volume of seats. We may have more seats added, but the main focus is the digital one. The other question was about hybrid education. How was hybrid implanted in Ser Educacional? We have a new curriculum matrix, which is Ubitda, and we could acquire flexibility in the academic model that we found the best one to offer to our students. Having said that, Ubitda implementation happened in parts. The first part was in first semester, and the second completely hybrid intake will be in the second semester. Thinking in cost and expenditure, we'll have a massive improvement of our teaching professional when we have Ubitda penetrated on our student base. And on another side, we'll adjust, we have been adjusting since 2017, our real estate park. It hasn't been different now. The only difference is that from now on, we have a tendency of having less devolution of real estate. Now we do not see the need to return a real estate, to drop a real estate. And now we see a response on our overall student intake, with hybrid having better responses. And so having more students, we do not need to drop having some real estate. Now it's not very well leveraged in operation-wise, because we had a drop of on-campus students. So we intend to have an operational re-leverage because great part of work was done. Janio says, regarding the expectation of students, as the Ubiqua pedagogical model, students end up accepting it because there are some disciplines that end up being online. So we mix on-campus classes and distance classes done remotely. So we have this way we can have great students from other states and other countries because we have a partnership with other schools in other countries. So the students have some disciplines, some subjects that are 100% online, having the content online. So they do not feel the difference of going 100% or 60% on campus to online. So this mix, we have partnership with great companies as Google, for example, to have courses and some subjects to our students. These subjects are online, and the online classes are synchronous for all of them. So it is a complete change, a complete shift to our pedagogical model that has been implemented before, had been implemented before the pandemics, and has been growing a change of behavioral behavior of the students. Perfect. Thank you so much for your answers.
Our next question comes from Luca Marquezin from Itaú BBA. Luca, please open your mic. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. I would like to ask, when we would like to know how the environment, and when you talk about in this M&A specific field, EdTech environment is very different for us. Historically, from our acquisitions, have been presential acquisitions. Maybe some things on EAD, remote education. And this process, we are learning that Educa, we bring Educa for our house, and we have new platforms when we adapted the way we look to this business and the way they make commerce. So with our team, we could adapt in a very fast way. So we have a pipeline to EdTechs. We have two groups. One is what we call the one that generate revenue. They have a focus in bring revenue for us. And the other one, it's also apart from Educa as well, that we had before. What we want to do is to better the attention we give to the student, the way we make the student feel. That's a different focus. And the third focus we have here is the EdTechs that can better our robotization, the service we deliver. We have three different aspects, but related to same business model. And we have a big focus on this field. And our team is working very hard with entrepreneurs to understand the way we can get value from that. The second semester, we're going to harvest some fruits from this field. Thank you very much. Our next question comes from Cristiano Duque. Please, Cristiano, can open your mic. Hello, I hope you guys are hearing me. I would like to know a little bit about the discount policy and how the effect this had on the pandemic time now, if you guys have any gap to close, and what you guys want to keep working on this subject for the next years. When we talk about like price, I have to talk a little bit about our history. Higher education performs better when the economic situation is better, because we don't have much public education financing for higher education. So our economics are not performing well, and this has a very hard impact in higher education. And this make bigger the demand for discounts. And what we expect now for the economic growth is not looking well. So what we have to see and think about here is that we had a smaller volume of discounts, and we had to research and see the price per course, per unit, to see how this unit and this course could be competitive in its field, in its region. So we have to think about pricing in the environment it sits. From last year to this year, we had to think very much about some projects of law that want to have impact on the education, and we could fight that from last year. And we have to see here in the way the courses are situated, and we have a big pressure on the price here, because people want to study less, people has less money to study, and then we have to adapt our price to that. Where we are seeing now the possibilities of growth now. So this, we can also think about a better pricing system for us. When the better stabilized economy, we can think about better prices, and then we believe soon we're going to have a better impact on the pricing. Thank you very much. Remembering, to make questions, you guys have to click on Q&A on the bottom right screen of your screen, put your name and wait in line. Our Q&A sessions is closed. We'd like to give now the floor for the company. I would like to thank you, everybody who was here on this conference, where we could talk about the results, and that we can show our strategic change and what we have been implementing, and what's the circle of life of the students when they decide to study with us, and then till when they change into a professional. This system of education, and we have here in digital field, we are doing some acquisition that are going to have a big impact in what we're delivering. First, the students finish the middle school, they have to decide on what they're going to study and where to study, and if they can pay for it. In this new model we're building now, we help the student making these decisions, since making what they're going to be, where they're going to study, which institution they're going to choose, what kind of courses, and remembering how much the student has to pay for the course. After the student does this course, they're going to look for a job, and this finish this circle about choosing the profession, having the training, and then after the circle, they come back when they want to change the field or when they want to do some post-graduation, and we are delivering this whole package for the students. So we can bring technological products that make this continuous education system possible for the student to be training to be a better professional and deliver a better service for the student. And that's going to happen on the next months and years. So we finish here showing a little bit what is our new concept in this way of education and our harvesting and capitation of students. So we have here on this hybrid system on campus and hybrid online, we have here, I would like to say thank you for our AI team. If you guys have any question, please contact us. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for being here with us.